Good afternoon, Rocketeers. Miss Farmer, and I'm going to be reading to you today When Joe Louis Won the Title. It was written by Miss Belinda Rochelle, and it was illustrated, which means he drew the pictures by Larry Johnson. From the cover, I can see an older man and a younger girl. I wonder what their relationship is. Maybe he's her dad or her grandpa or her uncle. Let's see. Joan Lewis sat perched on the top step of 10 steps, waiting for her grandfather, John Henry. Is that my favorite girl in the whole wide world? He said as he strolled up the street. He leaned over and picked up Joe Louis, swung her round and round until her ponytails wailed like propellers of a plane, swung her round and round until they were both dizzy with gasps, swung her round and round until they were both dizzy with giggles. This is John Henry, and this is Joe Louis. John Henry's brown eyes twinkled as he returned Joe Louis to the top step and sat down next to her. The smile quickly disappeared from Joe Louis's face. Oh no, maybe she's not happy anymore. She does look a little worried. Let's keep reading and find out. Why such a sad face on a pretty girl? He asked. Tomorrow was a special day for Joe Louis, the first day at a new school. I don't want to go to school, Joe Louis said to her grandfather. I don't want to be the new girl in a new neighborhood at a new school. Joe Henry put his arm around her and pulled her close. Why don't you want to go to a new school? He asked. I'll probably be the shortest kid in class, or I'll be the only one who can't run as fast as the other kids. I finish every race last. It's just a matter of time before a new school is an old school. Just a matter of time before you'll be able to run really fast and you won't always finish last, he said, patting her hand. What's the real reason you don't want to go to school? John Henry asked. I see that he is using his listening ears and listening to Joe Louis when she has a problem. Let's see what her real problem with going to a new school is. Joe Louis shook her head. It was hard to explain. She just knew it would happen. Someone would ask the question. It was the question, the same question each and every time she met someone new. What's your name? Maybe that has something to do with how our kids don't want to go to school. It was that moment, that question that made Joe Louis want to disappear. And it really wouldn't make a difference if she were taller, and it wouldn't make a difference that she was the new kid in school, and it wouldn't make a difference if she could run really fast. She just wished that she didn't have to tell anyone her name. Her grandfather picked her up and placed her on his knee. Let me tell you a story, he said. Before we get into this story, you know what I see? I see the steps that they're sitting on. So, at the beginning, they said that she was sitting at the top, not the bottom, but the top of 10 steps. Let's count and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're at the top of 10 steps. Let's get into the story with Grandpa. When I was just a young boy living in Mississippi, he began, I used to dream about moving north. To me, it was the promised land. I wanted to find a good job in the big cities like Chicago and St. Louis. But everybody, and I mean everybody, talked about Harlem in New York City. Going north, it was all anybody ever talked about. I would sit in the front porch and just daydream about those big city places. The way some folks I'm sorry, friends, the way some folks told it everything was perfect. Even the streets in the big city were paved with gold. And it was all just there waiting for me. John Henry's eyes sparkled as his voice quickened. When I saved enough money, I crowded the train with the other small town folks and headed north. Everything I owned fit into a torn, tattered suitcase and a brown box wrapped with a string. I rode the train all day, all night, like a snake winding its way across the Mississippi River. That train moved slowly through the farmlands and flatlands, over mountains and valleys, until it reached its final destination. Joe Louis closed her eyes. She loved when her grandfather told her stories. His words were like wings and other things. She listened closely until she felt she was right there with him. So, remember, before John Henry, her grandfather, he had his listening ears on when she had a problem. Now she has her listening ears on. I love how they're showing each other respect. Oh, you know what I noticed? Look at her dress. What color is this dress? That's right, it's blue. Good job. New York City, New York, New York, the conductor bellowed as the train pulled into the station. So here, friends, you can see the train schedule. This is how it was back in the older days when they didn't have a lot of technology available at the time. And this is a picture of all the people who were getting on the train. This is a good book. Can't read to hear the rest of the story. I headed straight to Harlem. I had never seen buildings so tall. They almost seemed to touch the sky. Even the moon looked different. In the big city, the moonlight was bright and shining. Stars skipped across the sky. The streets sparkled in the night light. It was true. The streets did seem to be paved in gold. I walked up and down city streets that stretched wide and long. I walked past a fancy nightclub where you could hear the moaning of a saxophone and a woman singing so sad and soft and so slow that the music made me long for home. I see he's walking down the street. He's in the city now. He made it to Harlem. And then, all of a sudden, the sad music changed to happy music. That saxophone and singing started to swing. Hundreds of people spilled out into the sidewalks, waving flags, scarves, waving handkerchiefs, and tablecloths. Hundreds of people filled the streets with noise and laughter, waving hats and anything and everything filling the sky with bright colors of red, white, green, yellow, blue, purple, and orange. I wonder what they're celebrating. They all look very happy. Let's find out. Everybody was clapping hands, and their hands were raised high. Up and down the street, people were shouting and singing. Cars were beeping, bells were ringing. Excuse me, I patted a woman on the shoulder. What's going on? I asked. The woman smiled. She was pretty with soft brown hair and a friendly smile. Why, haven't you heard? She said. Joe Louis won the title fight. My name is Mary. She held out her hand. And your name is? Oh, friends, look. See our letter of the week. What letter is this? That's right, it's off. Good job. John Henry smiled and hugged Joe Louis close. It was a special night for me. It was a special night for Black people everywhere. Joe Louis was the greatest boxer in the world. He was a hero. That night, he won the fight of his life, a fight that a lot of people thought he would lose. Some folks said he was too slow, others said he wasn't strong enough, but he worked hard and he won. Oh, he's showing persistence, friends. That's right, you work hard and you can do anything. Let's keep reading. It was a special night, my first night in the big city, and Joe Louis won the fight. But the night was also special for another reason. It was the night you met Grandma, Joe Louis said, and she started to smile. It was a special night that I'll never forget. I named your father Joe Louis. He named you his first child, Joe Louis, too. Her grandfather tickled her nose. Oh, right there, touch your nose. Good job. That was the night you won the title. You should be very proud of your name. Every name has a special story. Also, I see she looks to be feeling better now, and they're both smiling. Oh, I'm happy she's feeling better. The next day, Joe Lewis took a deep breath as she walked into her new school classroom and skipped to a seat. The boy sitting next to Joe Lewis tapped her on the shoulder. My name is Lester. What's your name? Joe answered slowly. My name is Joe Lewis. She balled her fist and closed her eyes and braced herself. Ooh, maybe she's a little shy. I think she's a little shy here. She waited for the laughter, the wait and waited for the jokes. She peeked out of one eye, then she peeked out of the other. Wow, that's a great name, she said, and smiled. Look how happy they're smiling. Moral of the story, friends. Always accept yourself for who you are and never let anybody else change who you are. All right. Have a good one.